Hello and welcome everyone. You are watching Checks and Balance. My name is Saahil Murli Menghani. Boycott is the flavor of this season, and today we are getting you 10 fake news items, videos and posts which were used to boost Lal Singh Chadha boycott campaign. All these fake media had millions of views, shares and likes. And if you were under the impression that this boycott campaign was organic, that it suddenly happened unplanned, then you're wrong. You will see in this episode how the ground for this boycott campaign was laid 2 months, yes, 2 months before the film's release, and how BJP leaders and even Godi media were very much part of this nexus. How the well-oiled social media machinery generated a false narrative using morphed pictures, doctored videos, misleading posts, and old fake material. How the state-backed fake news spreaders created a mahal, an environment that the film was already a flop, laughingly in some cases even before the movie was released, and in most cases on day 1 and 2 of its release. Presenting Fake News Janta of Lal Singh Chadha, starring BJP leaders, right-wing social media influencers and Godi media. It's time for lights, camera and action. Here's the first one. Unsurprisingly, the culprit here is the top fake news website backed by the ruling regime's ecosystem, OP India, OP India or whatever it is called. Up on your screens is their article calling Lal Singh Chadha a flop. Look at the image they have used to show that the film was running in an empty theater. I did a reverse Google image search of that image and found this original picture. It's from September 2020. OP India morphed that original picture to add a still from Lal Singh Chadha on the big screen. As you can see, the original picture didn't have anything at all on the big screen. The magic tricks. Here's image number 2, which was also used by several right-wing influencers on day 1 of the movie's release to show that Lal Singh Chadha was being met with empty theaters. Again, I did a reverse Google image search to find that a 2021 image of an empty theater was morphed by adding a still of Lal Singh Chadha on the big screen to spread the fake news. Now this is serious. Imagine how many people would these and many other images, fake images would have reached, and how many people would have decided that the movie was not worth their money and time based on these fake pictures. Now there is one thing called a genuine review where people get to watch a movie for a week and then they decide, and then the word of mouth spreads, and then people decide whether to go to the cinemas or not, especially in a post-pandemic world where people are taking calls depending on whether they want to take the risk of going to a cinema hall or not, whether they want to spend the money or not, and so they wait for a week before deciding. Now that's a genuine review. Whereas look at what happened. Even before the movie release, or just when the movie released, they were ready with their fake images of empty theaters, and they used their social media power to spread thousands of these images to lakhs and crores of people. So these fake images of empty theaters reached people before a genuine review, and so people, depending on these fake images, already decided कि यार ये तो खाली cinemas है, खाली theater है, these are empty theaters, why should I spend my money and time on this? So there is a difference between this genuine process of a review, of word of mouth, and what actually happened. Fake news, false information, lies, jhoot, faraid, nakli pictures, morphed images, wrong information, misinformation, disinformation. Third, here's the king of fake news, our favorite, the owner of Sudarshan TV, Suresh Chavnake, who shared this video of an empty ticket counter in a mall to suggest that Lal Singh Chadha had bombed. Watch that video and listen to the song playing in the background in that mall carefully. We have lowered the audio to avoid copyright strikes. So if you heard the song playing in that video, That song in the video is Main Rahu Na Tere Bina. Do you know which movie is that song from? Akshay Kumar starrer Raksha Bandhan. This movie too released on the same day as Lal Singh Chadha. Yet Suresh Javnaki and Sudarshan used this video to only target the Aamir Khan starrer, and was happily shared by over 10,000 people and watched over 1 lakh times just on Twitter, with all using the video to suggest that Lal Singh Chadha had flopped. अरे कोई इन लोगों को मॉल लेके जाओ, टिकट काउंटर दिखाओ कैसे चलता है. Someone take them to a mall and explain them the concepts of how a mall and a ticket counter works. But then again, they do not care about concepts, and particularly not about the concept of reality. But now you know what they actually do care about. Fourth fake news. I came across this post shared by one Prakash Handatu. It was in Kannada language and had an alleged quote by Aamir Khan which read, and I quote, "Even if Hindus don't see my movie Lal Singh Chadha, it will dust the box office." Now, on the top of that post, I noticed the header which read Vartha Bharti. Now, Vartha Bharti is a Kannada daily newspaper in Karnataka. So I approached the newspaper to check if the news was correct or not. And the paper confirmed to me. When I approached the newspaper, the paper confirmed to us that the post was fake. Yes, fake. They never published this because Aamir never said this. In fact, the newspaper has now decided to file a police case against this fake news spreader. Now, following this action, this user Prakash Handatu, whose Facebook timeline, by the way, is filled with pro-BJP messages, deleted his fake post and put out this message admitting that he had indeed shared a post which was fake. Now, even in that admission though, he still asked people to boycott Lal Singh Chadha. Now, there are only a few things that I can do as a fact checker. There's only a certain limit that I can change things, but then again, the fact that he admitted, the fact that he deleted it is sort of an achievement, right? Work in progress. Fifth fake news that was spread just 3 days after the movie's release was that the distributors were asking filmmakers to compensate their losses as the film had bombed. What fake news spreaders conveniently forgot was the fact that unlike other films, Lal Singh Chadha does not have any external distributors. For this movie, distributors are filmmakers themselves. So the question of compensating themselves does not even arise and is not even logical. But again, why let logic come in the way of meetha fake news? Here's a statement from Viacom 18 CEO Ajit Andhare confirming the same. His statement reads, and I quote, "Lal Singh Chadha does not have any external distributors. The film is distributed by Viacom 18 Studio only, so the question of asking for money back does not arise. These reports are baseless." Sixth fake news shows India's ruling party, BJP's active involvement in powering the boycott campaign using fake news. BJP's Arun Yadav shared this image of men from Sikh community holding saffron flags and Lal Singh Chadda's movie posters outside a cinema hall in Punjab to claim that the Sikh community is protesting against Aamir for hurting their religious sentiments. Yet again, we did a reverse Google image search and it took us to this video. This is the video from where BJP's Arun Yadav took that picture. In the video, the same men can be clearly heard saying that they were there to support and not oppose Lal Singh Chadha, and that they were there to rather prevent Hindutva fanatics from stopping the screening of that film. Watch it yourself.
ਅਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਏ ਆ ਉਹ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਚੈਲੰਜ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀ ਸੈਸ਼ਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇਹਦੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹ 3 ਵਜੇ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਇੱਥੇ ਮੂਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਚੱਲਣ ਦੇਣੀ ਜਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਪੋਸਟਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਣ ਦੇਣੇ ਜਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਐਦਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨ ਦੇਣਾ ਉਸ ਚੈਲੰਜ ਨੂੰ ਐਕਸੈਪਟ ਕਰਦਿਆਂ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਸਿੱਖ ਜਥੇਬੰਦੀਆਂ ਸਿੱਖ ਤਾਲਮੇਲ ਕਮੇਟੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਆਏ ਸਾਂ ਬਕਾਇਦਾ ਉਹਦੇ ਲਈ ਅੰਦਰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਪੋਸਟਰ ਵੀ ਉਹਦੇ ਲਵਾ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਨੇ ਔਰ ਫਿਲਮ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਬਦਦਸਤੂਰ ਜਾਰੀ ਹੈ।
Seventh fake news is this Kareena Kapoor video which was shared as early as June 2022, 2 months before the movie's release. In this video, she can be heard saying that nobody has forced you to watch a film. Don't go if you don't want to. Listen to this and then I'll tell you the reality.
The audience has made us. Nobody else has made us. The same people pointing fingers as also they are only making these nepotistic stars. ना आप जा रहे हो ना फिल्म देखने, तो मत जाओ.
Now this was shared by BJP's Kapil Mishra backed Creately with a false caption that read, "Appeal by Kareena, boycott Lal Singh Chadha." The video was shared, of course, by scores of users on various platforms. The reality is, this video is from the year 2020, in which Kareena said this in response to a question about nepotism. It wasn't about Lal Singh Chadha, but was used by fake news spreaders to provoke people, as if Kareena was daring them to boycott Lal Singh Chadha. 8th fake news is yet another old video by the boycott gang. This one is of Aamir Khan, in which he can be seen apologizing to audiences and admitting that the makers got it wrong and people didn't like the movie.
कहीं ना कहीं हम गलत गए। कुछ लोग हैं जिनको फिल्म पसंद आई है और उनका हम शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहेंगे और हमें खुशी है कि कुछ लोगों को पसंद आई है, लेकिन वो बहुत माइनॉरिटी में। ज्यादातर लोगों को फिल्म पसंद नहीं आई हमारी और इस बात का हमें एहसास है, तो यकीनन कहीं ना कहीं हम गलत गए और मैं उस बात की पूरी जिम्मेदारी लेता हूँ।
Now this was shared on day 2 of Lal Singh Chadda's release. But the reality, people, is that this is a 2018 video and the movie Aamir Khan apologized for was Thugs of Hindustan, which, to be fair, he should have apologized. He did apologize, and Amitabh Bachchan should have also apologized. Now, the difference between this and that is he apologized for Thugs of Hindustan. Again, by sharing this old video, the intent was to portray that Lal Singh Chadha was a flop. Importantly, even before audiences got a chance to watch that movie. 9th fake news is this picture of Aamir with very few people in a cinema hall, which was again spread by the boycott gang even before the film's release to suggest that the film is so bad that even free premieres are being greeted with empty theaters. A reverse Google image again revealed that it wasn't a premiere, but a promotional press conference that Aamir had organized. Here's the 10th fake news item. In this video, Aamir can be heard asking the press not to ask controversial questions as his film is about to release, and no matter what he says, his film's release would be stalled. Watched by 2 million people on YouTube itself, it's shared with the title Lal Singh Chadha, Aamir Khan ka ye dar अच्छा है.
Please let him speak.
No, I'll tell you why I won't speak, because हमारी फिल्म रिलीज पर है. मैं कुछ भी बोल दूंगा, मेरी फिल्म रुक जाएगी. तो फिल्म की रिलीज हो जाए, उसके बाद मैं ये सारे सवाल के जवाब दूंगा.
Now, the reality is that this too is an old video. This statement was made by Aamir in the year 2017, ahead of his movie Secret Superstar's release. So we have proven with evidence that these fake news were used to create a false narrative that Lal Singh Chadha was being disliked by audiences even before the movie was released, or just in 2 to 3 days post the movie's release. And this matters because cinema halls are anyway finding it tough to get audiences back post the pandemic. And when an organized campaign powered by fake news brainwash people that a movie has flopped, especially in the initial phase, then it deprives citizens of their right to make an informed choice. Sounds similar to our electoral process, right? Thanks for watching.
Get a sneak peek of exclusive content before everyone else for channel members only. Memberships start at ₹89. Hit the join button below.